If you have questions, please find me. I'd love to grab a coffee or a drink afterwards and answer all of your questions. I can talk about this for hours, literally. So find me, I'll be outside milling around. With that, I'd like to ask the question of the audience. How many of you have heard of Axie Infinity?
Let's go.
That's awesome. Okay, that's way more than I was expecting. Okay, how many of you have heard of Axie Infinity scholarships?
Yep.
Pretty good. Last question. How many of you have a scholarship?
Let's go.
Yay, that's awesome. I was not expecting that. I was expecting one or two, and I can actually see you guys in the front. So thank you. Hopefully if I speak again next year, there will be a lot more people answering yes to that. So before I dive in, I just want to show you guys some of my scholars. These are just a few of the amazing photos I've gotten over the past few months. That's Mary, Erlindo, Jesser, Alan, and Leo, and they were psyched that I was going to show this slide, so yes, anyway. Diving in, what is Axie Infinity? The quick one-liner, Axie Infinity is a blockchain game where players collect, breed, and battle digital creatures called Axies. Here are three of them here. They're cute. They have different traits that confer different abilities in battle. And so when players are battling and playing in-game and they actually win, they win a token called SLP, Smooth Love Potions, which is trading around 7 cents right now. Is it higher?
10 cents.
Okay, it's higher because there was a big announcement last night, but yes. It's quite volatile, but yes, it's an amazing game. We've got this huge opportunity to make real money in the game. And as a gamer myself, I used to play World of Warcraft, and I spent days, hours, and let's be honest, probably months of my life grinding this virtual gold and never getting any value in the real life out of it. So for me, when I first found Axie, it seemed too good to be true. And I thought there had to be a catch, a gotcha. And the main gotcha that I found is that these little Axies are really expensive. And so many players who could really benefit from earning SLP in the game can't get in because they can't afford the cost. And so a team like this, you need 3 Axies to play, is about $1,000. And it's just prohibitively expensive. So what has emerged organically out of the community, which is just a testament to crypto, is this thing called a scholarship. And a scholarship is basically a revenue sharing agreement where you, the manager, have 3 Axies, you lend them to a scholar, and the scholar uses these Axies to earn SLP. You as the manager get to determine all of the details. So that's how often you pay out, how much you pay out. Most scholarships pay out about 50% to the scholar, if not 60, 70, 80%. And so we have this agreement where a scholar gets to play, scholar gets to earn, and you get a little bit of return on your assets. So to give this a little bit more perspective for you, I wanted to talk about my experience with my scholarship. So back in August, I started a scholarship. I created a Google form and I created an application, submitted it, posted it on Twitter, and within 3 days I had 2,000 applications from aspiring scholars. And I immediately closed the form because I felt completely overwhelmed. And I locked myself in my room and spent about 2 days trying to pick out which of these deserving candidates I wanted to be my first scholar. And it was really hard. And I finally did choose my first scholar, Mary. She lives in the Philippines. She's a young mother. And she really needed the extra source of income because her husband had been laid off because of COVID. So I interviewed her, and I was on Zoom, and she clearly thought this was just an information gathering interview. And I remember looking in her eyes when she realized she'd actually gotten the team, and her eyes welled up with tears. And at that moment, I thought to myself, wow, I'm changing this woman's life through these little Axie NFTs. Why aren't more people doing this? So since August, I've paid out about $4,000 to my scholars, which may not sound like a whole hell of a lot of money here in the NFT space, but to put it in perspective, my scholars are currently earning about $300 per month. They are all in the Philippines, where $300 a month is on par with, if not more than, the salaries they could get there locally. Not to mention that a lot of the jobs just aren't available because of COVID. So it's a huge amount of money for them, and I've gotten so many messages about how they're using the money and how it's changing their lives, and it's been truly life-changing for me. Now, as a manager, you might be thinking, okay, well, what's in it for me? As an investor, what are my NFTs going to be getting me? And of course, not financial advice, all of that stuff. But from my experience, teams pay for themselves in about 3 to 4 months. After that, it's profit. You can then reinvest, or you can do what you will with your profits. For me, at Axietech, we've been seeing about a 200 to 300% APY for our managers that are on our platform. And that might not be the highest thing in this world of NFT flipping, but when you think about the lives that you're changing with this scholarship program, I really can't think of a better way to spend my money. You might be asking yourself, well, okay, lots of questions here. Where do I buy Axies, and which ones do I buy? How do I find scholars? How do I vet them? And then how do I make sure that as a manager, I'm getting the most out of my scholarship program and I'm maximizing the earnings? These are all great questions, and I'd love to talk to you more about them. Find me outside later. But if you're also sitting in the audience thinking, wow, this is cool and all, but on my time spectrum, there's just no way I have enough time, enough energy, enough resources to dedicate to managing every one of these little day-to-day details. And if that's you, that's totally understandable, I get it. We're also doing a managed scholarship service at Axietech where you can just minimally invest as much as you want and have very hands-off exposure to scholarships without having to manage team finding, scholar vetting, payouts, any of that. So whether you're wanting to dive in all the way in, or you want to just get exposure without having to manage the day-to-day, I'd love to talk to you about what we're building. We're also building a suite of dashboards and tools to allow you to monitor your earnings and figure out which scholars need to be praised for their great performance and maybe which ones need coaching. We're also doing some leaderboards between all of the guilds and the scholars on our platform so that you can see how your guild is stacking up. So it's really exciting stuff. I've just recently joined the team and we're already doing some amazing designs on our current site. So yeah, really exciting stuff. And ultimately, I want to help everyone in the audience get photos like this sent to you on Discord. This is my first scholar, Mary, and her husband, Jesser, my 8th scholar, and their son, Jess Marco. And they have paid off some of their loans, and they're moving into a new house with their earnings from their scholarships. It's crazy. So anyway, that's it. That's all I've got. Please scan the QR code if you want to find me on socials, or you can see me outside. I have stickers. And yeah, come say hi. Thank you for listening. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Awesome. Right on, right on. All right. How's everybody doing?